When is Iron Gwazi gonna open? What's going on? I cancelled my season pass. When is Iron Gwazi gonna open? Why can't they be transparent? I hate SeaWorld. Yes, I may have exaggerated a bit over there, but not really. SeaWorld has been getting a ton of hate lately. They were supposed to open a major coaster at every one of their parks in 2020, and besides for Texas Stingray, none of the coasters have opened or even been given opening dates yet. SeaWorld is in a very bad situation, and today I'm going to answer the question of whether or not this is the end of SeaWorld. SeaWorld has been through a lot, and to properly understand what's going on, we need to go into more depth. SeaWorld had a new roller coaster scheduled to open in 2020 at each of their parks. But 2020 happened. SeaWorld did what most of the parks in the country did, and delayed each of the coasters that hadn't opened yet to instead open the following year in 2021. SeaWorld was in a tough position, and they made a decision. 2021 came along, and SeaWorld didn't open any coasters for spring of 2021 like originally planned. Each of their coasters seemed ready to open, yet every single one was now delayed further, and on their website it says anticipated opening 2021. To answer the question of whether or not this is the end of SeaWorld, we first need to understand why they did this. Why aren't they opening their coasters or telling us what's going on? They haven't confirmed anything, so this is 100% my opinion, but I believe they simply do not know what to do. I think SeaWorld isn't sure whether or not to open each of their coasters in 2021 or delay them further. In my opinion, I think they are so unsure of what to do that they never even made a decision. I think SeaWorld never came to a decision of whether or not they should delay their coasters, and that is a decision itself. They don't know what to do, but that in itself is a decision to delay the coaster. Every day that goes by, they don't announce an opening date for the coaster, they are delaying it even though they still haven't come to a decision. I think SeaWorld may be looking back now and wishing they were more transparent, or that they had opened their coasters earlier, and now they don't know if they missed the time to open the coasters, or if they should open them now, or whether they should delay them further. SeaWorld is in a bad spot, and since they themselves don't know what to do, they aren't being transparent. That leads people to hate on them, because they want to know what the story is. So is this the end of SeaWorld? What can they do to fix what's going on? SeaWorld is in really big trouble. They need to make as much money as possible off their new coasters, but they don't know when to open them. At this point, I think SeaWorld needs to do damage control. In my opinion, SeaWorld should announce opening dates for each coaster and apologize for the lack of transparency. This will get the public to calm down a little bit, and though their coasters won't do nearly as well as they may have done prior to 2020, at least they won't go to waste. SeaWorld needs to open these coasters as fast as possible and start bringing in new coasters to each of their parks. Iron Gwazi is a different story, and it may be best to delay it further, but that's a topic for another video. After 2020, so many parks across the US made the decision to add a new coaster for 2022. Some parks that haven't added coasters in years picked this year to add a new one. It seems many are agreeing that the best way to come back from the pandemic is with a new coaster. Now, SeaWorld's coasters aren't really new, as we've known about them for a while. In my opinion, the faster SeaWorld opens the 2020 coasters and starts adding new coasters to some of their parks, the faster they will start to see increases in attendance. Will SeaWorld make it out of this? Will they go bankrupt? SeaWorld has been through a lot over the years, and though This may be another big problem for them. I think they will make it out and won't go bankrupt, at least in the near future. If they leave their coasters closed for too much longer, they may end up in big trouble. King's Dominion will get the chance to win over BGW, for example, and Universal and Velocicoaster will beat Icebreaker and Iron Gwazi. Basically, they need to open most of their coasters fast, very fast, and whatever decision they make, they need to make one and tell us. If they delay their coasters until 2020, fine, just say. All this applies to all the coasters besides Iron Gwazi. SeaWorld not being transparent hurts them with every coaster besides Iron Gwazi. But that's a topic for another video I'm working on, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Personally, I don't mind SeaWorld not being transparent about their coasters. They are going through tough times like many other parks and chains, and it's understandable. But I've been talking to people, and lately SeaWorld is getting a ton of hate. Like, way too much. So SeaWorld, you need to calm everyone down and say something. So is this the end of SeaWorld? I don't think so. They've been through a lot worse stuff than this. But this could lead them into more trouble if they don't handle it right, which could end up down the line with bankruptcy, though I don't think that's likely. Another thing SeaWorld has to be careful about is the fact that manufacturers may not want to work with them after the lien situation a year ago. SeaWorld didn't pay any of their manufacturers the remaining money they owed them for new coasters when the pandemic first hit, and that might tell manufacturers that SeaWorld will delay payments if they have financial issues or tough times. Hopefully, this doesn't cause manufacturers to stay away from SeaWorld, and hopefully they worked it all out with B&M, RMC, and the others. Pantheon is the coaster most likely to be successful, and it still has a chance. If they open Pantheon in the next few weeks, BGW will do great this year. Pantheon is still hyped, and opening it for summer 2021 will not hurt it. Honestly, SeaWorld, please open Pantheon. The coaster only started testing a few months ago, and it won't get backlash if it opens now. Opening Pantheon now will also help them a ton. I think they will delay all the coasters until 2022, which isn't smart in my opinion, and Iron Gwazi will still do solidly. However, I don't think it will stay so hyped, cause we're seeing RMCs pop up everywhere, and one coaster can't hold the spotlight for much longer. Pantheon may still have a chance, and the other coasters aren't as major, so the hype on those is gone. SeaWorld Orlando is in the best position because their coaster is rather small and probably wasn't too expensive, meaning they won't lose that much if the coaster fails. And if they open the surf coaster a year later, they can compete well with Velocicoaster and do a lot better. Another issue that may come up is Iron Gwazi is SeaWorld's first coaster from RMC, and if it doesn't do well, they may not want to get more. Hopefully they open a T-Rex or Raptor at BGW in 2023 and a surf coaster at SeaWorld Orlando in 2023. So to conclude, I don't think this is the end of SeaWorld, though they are in a lot of trouble in many different areas. Hopefully SeaWorld can get back up and we see many more coasters in their parks in the future. What do you think? Is this the end of SeaWorld? Let me know in the comments.